Okay, hi everyone. So today, this is going to be a video where I explain, well, actually, I think I'm gonna go through some of my binders and discuss how I plan to downsize a little bit. I'm going to talk about downsizing my photocard collection, and then I'm going to move over to talking about my album collection after that. I don't know if I will end up downsizing a lot of things in this video, but while this is also a downsizing video, I'll also probably kind of be explaining in depth more about like my plans for these collections moving forward. So I guess like any collection you don't see me talk about in this video, I will like be collecting them as normal. I'm not going to be changing how I'm collecting them, so just anything I talk about here, there will most likely be changes made. So I'm going to start here in my mini binders. So I'm actually going to start off here. This is my 1WE and AB6 binder. So I don't really have any plans to do anything with my 1WE collection, although I will say I don't think I plan to collect the photo cards from their most recent demo album. I don't know if I want to buy their demo albums moving forward. I just don't know if they're anything I really care about. If I really enjoy the single from them, I guess I can, and then like collect the cards along with it, but I haven't really seen a lot of the cards from that album around, like especially on Mercari Japan, which is where I get everything for this collection. I haven't seen any of those cards on there yet, and if they don't show up, I'm not going to get them. Like, I'm just not going to worry about it because I don't care that much. But for their album coming out soon, I'll most likely collect it depending on the situation. Like, I don't see myself not collecting it. And then for AB6, so this is where I kind of have a lot to say. So I've been thinking about downsizing my AB6 collection a lot recently. And I know I've kind of gradually downsized actually quite a bit, you know, just over time. And I think I've gotten to the point where I feel like I can probably let go of more of it. I don't know. I feel like I'm not as into AB6 as I used to be, and I don't really see myself getting back into them. Like I still like their music, but I don't listen to them very much. So yeah, and they have announced a new album. I would say I'm not really excited about the thought of collecting it, so I don't really know if I'm going to. So like I am selectively collecting Daehui, but I don't think I want to keep absolutely everything that I have for him because I just feel like I don't need it. And especially if I don't really like the cards, like I feel like I shouldn't keep them. Like these cards specifically, I'm going to be letting go of just because I don't like them very much. And I don't know if I should. I'll probably not collect like the AR cards and stuff like that. So I think if I let go of those things, and then I'll kind of rearrange this stuff at a later time, but that's just, you know. And I'm really thinking about this. I think I might let go of the cards that are not Daehui here. Like with the thought to downsize, I feel like if I collect full group for something, it really should be from a group I am more into. So I think I will be letting go of most of these. Maybe, okay, I think maybe I'll let myself keep one set, which will be this set here. But I think I can let go of all the non-Daehui things for everything else. I don't know. I've been thinking about this a lot, and AB6 cards are actually kind of hard to get rid of. Like, I don't know. Nobody seems to want them, whether it be trading or selling. So who knows if I'll even be able to get rid of them, but I think having them out of my binder and not having to worry about, you know, collecting so much moving forward will be nice for me. And I will keep these unit cards because I will have, you know, OT4 kind of represented in some way. So, you know, along with this OT4 set here, I'll also, you know, have all members. And then for Have a Dream, I think, like, for the most part, I'll be keeping most of these cards. I think I might just let go of this one because it's just not that cute. So, but I do think, like, these ones are really cute, so I think I'll just keep them all. For the unit cards, I really would like to get the one with Woojin and Daehui because I think that card is just super cute, and the concept is really cute, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think I plan to collect anything from their newer album, like, at all. From their newest, no, from Mo Complete, I guess. I just don't know if I feel like it. If I come across something and I eventually get something, then I guess that'll be that, but I don't have any plans to buy anything at the moment. But then I also think I'm just going to let go of these, like, pre-order benefits that I have. I think they're all Makestar. Again, I just don't feel like I need them. I collect, you know, pre-orders for, you know, more of my biases, like my top biases. And while I love Dahui, he's not really high up there. So yeah, and I do believe that's everything from this binder that I will be taking out. You know, I think I mentioned this in another video somewhere, but I will be collecting Dahui a lot more selectively moving forward, if at all. There may even come a point this year where I get rid of AV6 entirely. Like, I don't want to let go of it if I don't, like, really feel the need to get rid of everything. Like, I should be able to keep some things if I want. So, for now, I think this is what I will be keeping. Obviously, I'll rearrange this at a later time. I just, you know, it's not really what this video is about. I think I'll keep everything for Vivid. I may eventually get rid of... Actually, I think I'm going to get rid of the AR cards. I don't know. They're not that cute, so who cares? So there's all that. So we'll see if I can even get rid of the AB6 cards. Yeah, I will be keeping, like, OT5 for the first album because that was a fun era, but, you know, that's everything for this binder. So next, this is Lightsum and Wii. So I'm not doing anything to my Lightsum collection. I'm still very much enjoying collecting Lightsum. But for Wii, I think I'm going to try to be a little bit more selective with what I collect for Donghan as well. So I think what I want to do is that I want to collect really only selfie cards for him. I feel like that's kind of like a compromise because while it's not everything that I'm collecting, it's like still a lot of things that I'm collecting because I don't know, I don't feel like I still really enjoy collecting Donghan, but I don't want to like collect everything. Like I don't feel like I need everything. So like for Identity Challenge, I'll be keeping all of these cards at the very least. And then I think I'll be letting go of like probably these transparent cards if I can get them out. I don't really know if I want to let go of Polaroids because they are technically selfies. So I'll think about that. I do think they are cute though. So I'll probably keep those, at least for now. And for Identity Action, I don't think I want to let go of any of these. I feel like just in general, it works. I think. So I think just like moving forward, I'm not going to be collecting like literally every card for Donghan, like just the selfies. And maybe just like depending on, you know, like album details and how many cards there are per album, I might not be collecting all of them. So I just feel like this kind of setup really works and I don't like not like any of the cards. So I feel like it's okay to keep them for now and not doing anything with these. And then we have Daniel, which I think I'm keeping all of these, but I also am not sure, like, should I keep them all? Do I care to have anything that is not a selfie of his is a real question. Probably not, but I also don't know if I really want to get rid of them because I don't really have that many selfie cards to begin with. I don't know. I think I'll leave Daniel for now. I just don't know how much I'll be collecting Daniel in the future. Like, it's really hard to say. Like, I want to change the current collections that I have to kind of reflect what I'm doing moving forward, but I also don't know if I'll even be collecting these people at all moving forward. Like, it all just depends on like releases and stuff and if I like the releases. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. For Yellow though, I definitely want to keep these cards because they're all super cute. So yeah, and then these cards aren't anything. I put these in here actually kind of recently, but these are just like cards from the soloists that I have. So I have Somi, Lehigh, Rayjuan, Girlkind, and that's like it. Just because I didn't really have anywhere else to put them, didn't want them in my normal binder, so I put them in here. But I think, you know, I don't want to get rid of as many things in here as I did maybe the other binder, but I think just moving forward, my plans for collecting are changing at least a little bit for Wii at the very least. You know, Lightsum is always kind of, I don't know, it's not something that's set in stone. I've just collected a lot for the first two eras because I really enjoyed the releases, and I think Choan has really pretty cards, so I'm like really excited to collect her. And she's like one of my newest collections, so I don't really feel the need to let go of anything. But yeah, so that was really it for these mini binders. So I think I'm gonna move on So this next binder here is like my hotshot binder, but I do want to go to the back of this binder because I plan to, I don't know, I guess take out some fillers. I'm not really downsizing, but like I'm changing my collection a little bit. So I think just generally I'm not going to really focus on collecting bigger inclusions for JBJ or UMB. Just in general, I have lost like 100% of my interest in collecting bigger inclusions for like anybody. So I'm not going to be doing it anymore, and I'm not going to like force myself to do it. Like if I end up with these things, that's like great, but I don't really have any plans to go out of my way to collect these things anymore. So I think that's just one big change to my collection in general, is that I don't care about collecting these things anymore. You know, it's nice to have them, but I don't really care to look at them. Oh, I guess there's, oh yeah, okay. And I don't know, I just don't generally care to have these things. And I've kind of lost, I feel like I've lost a lot of steam just in collecting in general. And while I am still excited about collecting, I am so much more excited about collecting like just cute cards for my favorites. I've just really lost the desire to have like, you know, complete collections for everybody that I like, you know? I feel like I've discussed this in maybe different videos, I am not even sure, but I just generally feel pretty worn out from collecting in general. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm sure some of you can kind of relate to what I mean. But like I have no desire to like collect as much as I have in the past, and that's just that. So I guess it is what it is. But that's, you know, pretty much it for this. I think I'm gonna take this page out. And I feel like there's another page that I completely missed that I need to do something with. Where is it? Is it up here? Oh yeah, so I'm not collecting these cards really anymore. They're from the limited edition of UNB's debut album, and I just don't really care to get them. You know, they're just another bigger inclusion that I don't care to have. So I have two, I'm gonna keep them. I'm not gonna let them go, but I will move them. And you know, I do still have plans to go back and collect 101, but not yet. I kind of want to be a little bit strategic about the way that I go about doing it, because I don't know, I feel like it could turn into something really annoying really quick if I don't know, just start it now. So I'm not going to. But yeah, I think that was like everything I wanted to do with this binder. I do actually plan to, you know, finish out these collections as much as possible. I feel like generally 2017, 2018 were like my prime years for just K-pop in general and K-pop, and these groups specifically really do kind of capture like some of my favorite things about that time in my life, and that is why I want to collect them, even though, you know, there may be no real point to it now. But I do feel like, I don't know, like generally starting with Hotshot, this is going to be a tangent, so I'm sorry, but you know, starting with Hotshot, they became my alt group in 2017, and you know, that led to me becoming a fan of JBJ and everyone in that group. And then also because of Produce 101, I became a fan of 101, obviously, and they were a big part of just everything that I was doing in, you know, 2017, 2018. And UNB, I watched the unit because, you know, Timo and Hojung were on the show, and the show introduced me to so many new people that I loved and cherish even now. And like these collections really, they kind of commemorate that time in my life where I feel like everything was just so much fun for me. And I feel like now so many of the idols that I have in this binder just straight up are not active. You know, Hotshot disbanded in 2021. I think it was 2021 anyways. You know, JBJ hasn't been active since like 2018 or whatever. And you know, these are people that I love, and people that have brought me so much joy. And you know, UNB isn't active. Like nobody in UNB is active. Let me go back. I don't know why I flipped away from that. But you know, Leijin is not active as an idol or a singer. Field Dog isn't either. Daewon sure isn't. Marco, not really an idol. I don't really know what he's doing these days, but definitely not doing the singing and dancing thing. And we have Hansel, who's in the military. June, who is acting, not being an idol anymore, really. And then Kijung, who, you know, he's still trying his hardest, but I would really love for Kijung to debut so I could collect him. That would make me so happy. But yeah, there's like nobody in this binder who is really active in K-pop anymore, and it makes me sad, and it makes me miss this time of my life so much. So that is why I keep this binder and keep these collections, because they're a fun way for me to look back and like remember what I really enjoyed about K-pop around this time, because I really do feel like, you know, 2017, 2018 were like my prime years as a K-pop stan. And, you know, Hotshot being my alt group, I just feel so, I don't know, I have feelings. And yeah, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, this binder, I would say, although it's not as interesting to see and not much goes in it often, it is still kind of like an important thing to me. So that is why I have it. So I'm going to move on now. I don't really know what I'm going to do. So I will say there's literally not anything I can do on my girl groups binder. This binder has shrunk significantly. I feel like I'm collecting so much these days, but also not at the same time. And this is kind of a, I don't know, this is like, I don't know, proof of that. Like I have Blackpink in here, and I finished most of my Lisa collection in the span of like a year, not even. And they don't have comebacks like ever. And I don't collect their solos. And then we have Brave Girls, who I only actually just started being able to pick up again in the last like 6 months, which is really fun, but still their collection is really small. Like over time it'll obviously grow, but like still. And then ITZY, like ITZY I've been really chill with collecting over time, and while it's been fun, it's also like I feel like having, I don't know, is there only like 3 girl groups in here? It makes it so nothing happens in here very often, and I feel like that's not fun. I really do generally these days enjoy collecting girl groups more than boy groups, but there's not many girl groups I'm interested in collecting. I don't know, it's hard to explain because, well, I don't know if there really is a because, it's just hard to explain. Like, I don't know, I feel slightly inclined to collect more of her Chaeyoung because she has some of the cutest cards. You know, her Crazy in Love cards are really, really pretty, and I think I'd like to collect more of them, but also it's like, am I willing to spend the money on them? So, ITZY hasn't always been a collection where I'm super ready to invest money in. Like, it's just 'cause, like, I buy albums and then trade for my cards, and then that's it. And I don't really buy much outside of that. And that's just how it's always been. So I'm wondering if I will get the motivation to collect more, because, you know, I think Chaeyoung really, like, literally has some of the cutest, like, fan sign cards. I think ITZY in general just has some really beautiful cards. So, like, I think collecting more for them would be fun, but also I'm not sure how exactly I'd feel about that. So, I'm actually gonna see if I can expand on ITZY a little bit more in the new year, so we'll see. But, you know, not much is to be done in here. I'm thinking about, you know, I was thinking about collecting Hot Issue, but I don't know if I want to. I really would like to find a new girl group that I'm really interested in collecting. I don't know, I feel like there's not many collections where I can like dive headfirst into them, and just like there's not a lot of things I have to collect at the moment, so I'm a little bored in that sense, to be honest. But yeah, I don't really think it was necessary to show this binder, but I don't know, we'll see if I keep this in. So I'll bring this binder back to look at while I kind of discuss some things. So now I'm going to go talk about like my plans for collecting albums. It'll probably be brief, but I feel like I should discuss that slightly because it's different. But also, okay, so just to slightly discuss where I'm at with my album collection, and I still feel like I'm going to downsize this a little bit more. I'm unsure, but you can kind of tell that I've downsized AB6 a little bit. I'm not collecting more than one version for them going forward, if I even buy the album at all. So I may not buy their album, and if I do, it'll only be one version. And it's the same thing for aespa, but I guess if I skip, I guess, non-active groups, so like Big Star, Very Good, obviously I'm not collecting them, but you know, with CIX, I don't know if I'm really going to buy their albums at all. Depends on how I feel about the album. If I do, I'll buy one version, and I still might let go of some of the things I have there, unsure, but we'll see. You know, CLC, I'm going to keep those because I love CLC's discography, but they're not active, so it doesn't matter. And same thing with Daya. I think they're, you know, I don't know if they're going to have a comeback soon, but they're not disbanded or anything, so I'll collect them as if I would any other normal group. Like, I'll buy all versions of their albums and stuff like that, just because, you know, they're really close to the end, I guess, potentially. So I'm not backing out of that now. I feel like it's a little late for that, but I'm gonna move down now. So here's the second shelf. You can see I kind of added, so I actually had moved some things, certain albums and stuff, into my closet because they just didn't fit on my shelves. But with everything that I've done recently with like reorganizing and stuff, I was able to fit them back on my shelf. So you can see I have like FX here and like Girl Kind. I don't know if I had those on this shelf recently, but then like we moved past my like Hotshot, which is not a collection that's growing. In fact, that is definitely not a collection that'll be growing, although I do anticipate Umjae to have solo music, so I will be buying and supporting any physical album that he does or has. I can just assume that he will have some because I can't see him not doing that. But we have Eyes One, which obviously isn't a collection that's growing, and I don't have any plans to collect any Eyes One solos or anything like that. And there's always potential for me to buy albums that I really like, despite how I may or may not technically on paper be collecting them. So say Yena's debut just got announced. If I really like that album, I could buy it. Like, who knows? But as of now, I like really don't have any plans to buy anything Eyes One related. Even Chaeyeon was my bias. Even if she debuts this year, I won't really be buying it. So yeah, that's that. I'm gonna move down more now. Shelf below, I have IOI, and then JBJ95, which is a completely, that collection is probably finished. I let go of some of the albums I had. I just didn't feel like I needed every single version of them. So I have like one version of their first album, both of their second album, because that album is just a masterpiece. And then for their third album, I have one version. I just kept the signed version that I have. And then I have my Jonghyun albums and my Daniel albums, which I will not be collecting Daniel fully anymore. I know I made the decision in 2021 to collect him fully, but I changed my mind on that, which is a little bit annoying of me. I know, I feel like I move back and forth in my collections a lot, but I'm really trying to stick to what I want to do now. So for now, I plan to keep both versions of his Cyan album, one of his Magenta albums. I'm letting go of both of his Yellow albums, and then for his debut album, I'm not keeping that either. I was thinking I would keep the debut of every single 101 member because I wanted to collect, pretty thoroughly all of the 101 solos, but I kind of changed my mind on that just because I'm trying to focus solely on collecting just things that I enjoy musically. I don't have to stay in the group. If I stay in the group, I don't even have to buy the album, Yeah, but that's why I'm not keeping that. But then I have Jaehwan, so I used to collect his albums as well. I'm just keeping his first album because I love that album. But that's that. And then, I have the One Kingdom album, Lehigh, which I'll most likely be buying all of her albums. And maybe even trying and going back and getting her old albums because I love those albums. I know they're out of print, but we'll try and see what I can do because I love them. I just want them. We have MVP and Anshia, but moving on to New East, I downsized this collection, which I think I've talked about. Musically, New East is one of my favorite groups. I think they have one of the best discographies in K-pop, and I'll stand by that. So I just have my plan to keep what I have here. I might downsize it a little bit more. I might only keep one version of their albums. I had told myself if they had 4+ versions of an album that I could keep 2, but I might just downsize that a little bit more and keep 1 per album because I don't feel like I need everything. I think 1 album just kind of, it covers everything technically. And for Happily Ever After, I kept one of the albums because they're signed, but I feel like I don't really need a signed New East album. So yeah, there's that. And then one shelf down. So this is kind of a bad angle, sorry. This whole thing has kind of been a little bit messy, but you can see I have my 1V albums there. I think I already mentioned this in this video, but I do plan to collect their mini albums and full albums as normal. Probably will not collect their demo albums anymore just because I don't really care to, but we'll see. Obviously, everything is subject to just change, I guess. And then we have Sungwoo's album, keeping that of course, and then Jihoon. I have his debut and then the W album. I decided to let go of everything else just because musically I think those 2 albums are my favorite, and if I like any of his albums enough moving forward, I'll of course buy them. And we have my One Pentagon album that I still have, which I actually took a few of their older albums out of my collection a while ago, and I have 2 left, I think. I might potentially keep their debut album that I still have because I think that album is so good. And it has one of my favorite K-pop songs of all time on it, so might bring that one back out. We'll think about it. Then we have Pristin and my signed Brains album, which I was actually gonna let go of, but figured, I don't know, I feel like I like the album a lot, and I know I got the album for super cheap, so it doesn't really feel necessary for me to get rid of it. I think for now I'll keep it. And then we have my 2 Red Velvet albums that I have left. I have The Perfect Velvet, I think, and RBB. I would say, I know I let go of my entire Red Velvet collection just because I wasn't really interested in collecting their albums anymore, but I think those 2 are pretty good musically. I was gonna sell RBB for a while, but just didn't feel like it when it came down to it, so I kept RBB because I really like that album. I like RBB. And I don't know if I'll buy any, like, I think all of Red Velvet's albums are out of print, so I'm not sure if I'd go back and buy any again, but if I did, I'd probably buy Rookie because that's one of their best albums. So, and then we have Samuel, which I just have his first 2 albums because those are my favorite musically. We have my 117 album left. I think I really wish I would have kept Boys B, to be honest, because I love that album so much, but I don't think I need any other 17 albums. And we have Somi, who I will be fully collecting anything she comes out with album-wise. I love Somi. I've been waiting for so long to be able to support her solo career, so it's what we're doing, full force. And that's that. And we have some Super One albums, which I let go of a few of them just because I feel like I didn't need, what was it, 7 copies of the same album. I let go of 2 versions of Super One and 1 version of just their first album. I don't know. I feel like I just got too much and it looks clunky and bad on the shelf, so I don't know. Might let go of more, but who knows? Probably not. And then I have 2 WJSN albums still, which I love those albums. And then we have Woosuk and Gwenlyn over there. So this angle really sucks, so sorry about that. But this is like literally the last of what I have on my shelf. I just have We in the Zone, which, you know, a dead group, nothing happening there. I have Donghan solos, which I don't plan to touch those. I love his solo discography, so it's all fine. And I'm just collecting one of their albums per release if I want to buy it, you know, that type of thing. And next one, you know, another dead group. Anyways, we have Jisung's album. I let go of all of his, like, I guess pre-enlistment albums just because I didn't feel like I needed them. But I have his newest album, Temperature of Love, and 100%. I have those albums because I think I really loved 100%. I think musically they were an amazing group, and yeah, so that's what I have there. But over here is just jewel cases and big albums, nothing really to say, but I feel like generally my album collection, you know, I'd really like to curate it into something that I'm happy with, and I want to own things that I really like, and I don't want to own things that I'm not super into. I feel like one thing that has bothered me so much lately is just how much stuff that I have, and I'm just in a state where I feel really, really stressed out about how many things that I own. Recently, I just, like, in 2021 got more back into reading, so I'm buying books again. Not really very often, but it's still, they like pile up and stuff like that. And I don't know, I feel like downsizing my album collection is like a really good thing for me because just in general, like, album collecting can be so much. I know there's people that like strictly collect albums. There's people who have shelves and shelves and shelves and rooms full of K-pop albums, and I think that is wonderful. And I would say it'd be a goal of mine if I had that many things that I liked. But, you know, I live in a small space. I don't have the money to buy every single thing ever. And I've been really, really happy with the idea of, you know, I guess the idea and the actual action of downsizing my album collection, because it feels like I have less on my shoulders. I don't even know if that makes sense, but it's like I don't have to look at so many things. When I do look at my shelf, it's just things that I enjoy, and that definitely makes me happy. Yeah, generally in 2022, I'm not going to be buying as many albums. Obviously, I'm going to buy comebacks that are priority to me, and then just literally any album that I really love. And one thing, I know I heard this from someone a long time ago, and it was their kind of method when kind of deciding whether or not they wanted to buy an album or not, and it was to kind of wait maybe like 2 weeks after the release. And if you still want to buy that album, like if the album comes out, you listen to it once and you're like instantly, oh, I want to buy this, you wait 2 weeks until after that, and then if you still want to buy it, you can go ahead and buy it. And that's kind of one thing that I will be keeping in mind this year, because I can like something at first and then may lose interest really quickly. So that's why I feel like that would be a good thing. So like one example of something that I did about this recently was Hot Issues Icons. That album, okay, I listened to the song kind of late, maybe October. I think it came out in September. It's a good ass song. Like title track, B-side, good ass songs. And I thought about wanting to buy it, their album, and I sat on it for a while and then decided that I really did want to buy it, and so that's what I did. And I'm really happy and excited about that. So that is going to be my method moving forward, and I'm excited to implement it to see how it works. So yeah, that is my album collecting, how things will be going. But yeah, moving on. So in general today, this is about all of the things that I am downsizing. For photocards, I will say there's always potential for more in the future. We'll see how that goes. I feel like 2022 is really going to be the year where I slow down collecting. You know, I will say I'm still a really big, K-pop fan, but I won't say I'm as into it as I used to be. I think over time, just with me specifically, like, I think it's kind of a natural thing that sometimes people kind of fall out of being a K-pop fan. I mean, it's not always, but like, just sometimes. I personally have lost interest in a lot of things in general over the past like year or whatever, I guess K-pop related. And I don't feel very inclined to look into a lot of new things these days, and that's something I'd like to work on, and I'd really like to be more immersed in K-pop again, just because music wise, I feel like K-pop is just, I don't know, it's great. I really love the music aspect of K-pop, but outside of that, I don't hold much interest towards anything K-pop related, so it'll be interesting to see how things go in 2022. So I guess to get back, I don't know, collecting wise, I feel like all of the collections that I have at the moment that I'm super like invested in, the ones that are like my priorities, I feel like those are all going really well. So specifically like NCT, Twice, Uptension even, I feel like those collections have been going pretty well, and I really enjoy collecting those groups because they're alts. I'm really excited to see those collections grow and stuff like that. So I don't know, I feel like this video is kind of a mess. I apologize for that. I'm just trying to get some thoughts out. I don't know, and I'm not sure if any of this kind of overlaps with what I've said in previous videos, so I apologize if this is just kind of a huge repeat of things that I've already talked about. But I will say I'm looking forward to the new year. I'm looking forward to potentially downsizing more, potentially adding new collections, and I'm interested to see how my collection looks at the end of the year, because I know my collection now looks a lot different than it did at the beginning of 2021, and it's kind of the same thing every year. I change up my collection so much, and I've been collecting so many different things throughout the years, and I used to be one of those people who likes to collect, a lot of different people, a lot of different groups, but I really changed my mindset, and now I prefer to collect less people, less groups. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how everything goes, but obviously I will keep y'all updated in the new year. So yeah, that was everything for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one.